Public image. Diana remains one of the most popular members of the royal family throughout history, and she continues to influence the principles of the royal family and its younger generations. She was a major presence on the world stage from her engagement to Prince Charles in 1981 until her death in 1997, and was often described as the world's most photographed woman. She was noted for her compassion, style, charisma, and high-profile charity work, as well as her ill-fated marriage. Diana's former private secretary, Patrick Jeffson, described her as an organized and hard-working person, and pointed out Charles was not able to reconcile with his wife's extraordinary popularity, a viewpoint supported by biographer Tina Brown. He also said she was a tough boss who was equally quick to appreciate hard work but could also be defiant if she felt she had been the victim of injustice. Diana's mother also defined her as a loving figure who could occasionally be tempestuous. Paul Burrell, who worked as a butler for Diana, remembered her as a deep thinker capable of introspective analysis. She was often described as the devoted mother to her children, who are believed to be influenced by her personality and way of life. In the early years, Diana was often noted for her shy nature. Journalist Michael White perceived her as being smart, shrewd and funny. Those who communicated with her closely describe her as a person who was led by her heart. In an article for The Guardian, Monica Ali described Diana as a woman with a strong character, who entered the royal family as an inexperienced girl and, despite being uneducated, she could handle their expectations and overcome the difficulties and sufferings of her marital life. Ali also believed that she had a lasting influence on the public discourse, particularly in matters of mental health, by discussing her eating disorder publicly. According to Tina Brown, in her early years Diana possessed a passive power, a quality that in her opinion she shared with the Queen Mother and a trait that would enable her to instinctively use her appeal to achieve her goals. Brown also believed that Diana was capable of charming people with a single glance. Diana was widely known for her encounters with sick and dying patients, and the poor and unwanted whom she used to comfort, an action that earned her more popularity. She was mindful of people's thoughts and feelings, and later revealed her wish to become a beloved figure among the people, saying in her 1995 interview, that, she would like to be a queen of people's hearts, in people's hearts. Known for her easygoing attitude, she reportedly hated formality in her inner circle, asking people not to jump up every time she enters the room. Diana is often credited with widening the range of charity works carried out by the royal family in a more modern style. Eugene Robinson of The Washington Post wrote in an article that Diana imbued her role as royal princess with vitality, activism and, above all, glamour. Alicia Carroll of The New York Times described Diana as a breath of fresh air who was the main reason the royal family was known in the United States. In Anthony Holden's opinion, Diana was visibly reborn after her separation from Charles, a point in her life that was described by Holden as her moment of triumph which put her on an independent path to success. Biographer Sarah Bradford commented, "The only cure for her suffering would have been the love of the Prince of Wales, which she so passionately desired, something which would always be denied her. His was the final rejection, the way in which he consistently denigrated her reduced her to despair." 87. Despite all the marital issues and scandals, Diana continued to enjoy a high level of popularity in the polls while her husband was suffering from low levels of public approval. Her peak popularity rate in the United Kingdom between 1981 and 2012 was 47%. In Theodore Dalrymple's opinion, her popularity stemmed from both her extreme difference from common people and her similarity to them. He believed that by going public about her marital issues and bulimia she won the admiration of all those who have been unhappy in their marriages as well as people who suffered from psychological problems. Highly regarded by the LGBT community due to her work with gay men suffering from AIDS, Diana is considered to be a gay icon. Diana had become what Prime Minister Tony Blair called the People's Princess, an iconic national figure. He had reportedly said that she had shown the nation a new way to be British. Her sudden death brought an unprecedented spasm of grief and mourning, and subsequently a crisis arose in the royal household. Andrew Marr said that by her death she revived the culture of public sentiment, while The Guardian's Matthew Dancona dubbed Diana the Queen of the Realm of Feeling and said that the impassioned aftermath of her death was a bold punctuation mark in a new national narrative that favoured disinhibition, empathy and personal candour. Her brother, the Earl Spencer, captured her role. Diana was the very essence of compassion, of duty, of style, of beauty. All over the world she was a symbol of selfless humanity. All over the world, a standard bearer for the rights of the truly downtrodden, a very British girl who transcended nationality. Someone with a natural nobility who was classless and who proved in the last year that she needed no royal title to continue to generate her particular brand of magic. In 1997, Diana was one of the runners-up for Time magazine's Person of the Year. In 1999, Time magazine named Diana one of the 100 most important people of the 20th century. In 2002, Diana ranked third on the BBC's poll of the 100 greatest Britons, above the Queen and other British monarchs. In 2003, VH1 ranked her at number 9 on its 200 greatest pop culture icons list, which recognizes the folks that have significantly inspired and impacted American society. In 2006, the Japanese public ranked Diana 12th in the top 100 historical persons in Japan. In 2018, Diana ranked 15th on the BBC History's poll of 100 women who changed the world. In 2020, Time magazine included Diana's name on its list of 100 Women of the Year. She was chosen as the Woman of the Year 1987 for her efforts in destigmatizing the conditions surrounding HIV/AIDS patients. Despite being regarded as an iconic figure and a popular member of the royal family, Diana was subject to criticism during her life. Patrick Jeffson, her private secretary of 8 years, wrote in an article in the Daily Telegraph that Diana had an extra quality that frustrated her critics during her lifetime and has done little to soften their disdain since her death. Diana was criticized by philosophy professor Anthony O'Hare, who in his notes argued that she was unable to fulfill her duties, her reckless behavior was damaging the monarchy, and she was self-indulgent in her philanthropic efforts. Following his remarks, charity organizations that were supported by Diana defended her, and Peter Luff called O'Hare's comments distasteful and inappropriate. Further criticism surfaced as she was accused of using her public profile to benefit herself, which in return demeaned her royal office. Diana's unique type of charity work, which sometimes included physical contact with people affected by serious diseases, occasionally had a negative reaction in the media. Diana's relationship with the press and the paparazzi has been described as ambivalent. On different occasions she would complain about the way she was being treated by the media, mentioning that their constant presence in her proximity had made life impossible for her, whereas at other times she would seek their attention and hand information to reporters herself. Writing for The Guardian, Peter Conrad suggested that it was Diana who let the journalists and paparazzi into her life as she knew they were the source of her power. Thus, she overburdened herself with public duties and destroyed the border between private and public life. This view was supported by Christopher Hitchens, who believed that in pursuit of a personal solution to an unhappy private life, she became an assiduous sleeker to the press. Nevertheless, Diana also used the media's interest in her to shine light on her charitable efforts and patronages. Sally Bedell Smith characterized Diana as unpredictable, egocentric, and possessive. Smith also argued that in her desire to do charity works she was motivated by personal considerations, rather than by an ambitious urge to take on a societal problem. Eugene Robinson, however, said that Diana was serious about the causes she espoused. According to Sarah Bradford, Diana looked down on the House of Windsor, whom she reportedly viewed as jumped-up foreign princelings, and called them the Germans. Some observers, including Prime Minister Tony Blair, characterized her as a manipulative person. Blair also described Diana as extraordinarily captivating but an unpredictable meteor whose death was a turning point for the monarchy. After her death, it was revealed that Diana had been in discussion with Blair about a special role that would provide a government platform for her campaigns and charities to make her capable of endorsing Britain's interests overseas. In an article written for The Independent in 1998, journalist Yvonne Roberts observed the sudden change in people's opinion of Diana after her death from critical to complimentary, a viewpoint supported by Theodore Dalrymple, who also noticed the sudden shift from cruel personal abuse to absurdly exaggerated respect. Roberts also questioned whether she had achieved anything different from other members of the royal family and added that Diana was neither a saint nor a revolutionary figure, but may have encouraged some people to tackle issues such as landmines, AIDS and leprosy. While analyzing the impact of Diana's death and her extraordinary popularity from a gendered point of view, British historian Ludmilla Yordanova said, "To be an ideal, to be living for and on behalf of others is a terrible burden. It makes impossible, irreconcilable emotional demands. No human being can survive the complex forces that impact upon charismatic women." Yordanova also observed that Diana herself was not anti-establishment and that it is better to remember her by trying to decipher how emotions overshadow analysis and why women are the safeguards of humanitarian feelings. Author Anne Applebaum believed that Diana has not had any impact on public opinions posthumously, an idea supported by Jonathan Freedland of The Guardian, who also wrote in his article that Diana's memory and influence started to fade away in the years after her death, while Peter Conrad, another Guardian contributor, argued that even in a decade after her death, she is still not silent, and Alan Massey of The Telegraph described Diana as the celebrity of celebrities whose sentiments continue to shape our society. Writing for The Guardian, Monica Ali described Diana as a one-off, fascinating and flawed. Her legacy might be mixed, but it's not insubstantial. Her life was brief, but she left her mark.